What's going on? It's Stafford Beats. For those of y'all that don't know me, I blew up on TikTok a few times, whether it be for my song Temporary that I produced with Blake Shimoda or the artist retreats that I hold. But today I'm going to be breaking down this Joji inspired sample and then making a beat out of it. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so this is what the sample sounds like all together. Pretty cool. So let's break down how I made that. The first thing I started with is actually these guitar phrases from Siki's new kit that he's dropping on the producer crate. So it's this kit called Riptide, and basically he made all these different guitar presets, a guitar toolkit so that you can get the individual notes or chords from these guitars. So he's got an electric guitar and it's got all these 7th chords, triads, major, minor, whatever you need. He's got all the same ones on the nylon as well. So all I did was I took the F major 7th from the nylon and then the D major 7th, and then I actually pitched it down too, so it would be a C major. It's just going down 5 semitones. And then I just took advantage of some of these slaps and fret noises and stuff that he has also included. Just to make it sound really realistic. The next thing that I added was just a bell layer. This is from the one-shots from Siki's kit as well. Now these are actually going to be the same chords. You can see that if I pitch these down, it's literally the same exact thing. It's F major and C major. Next thing I added was this pad. Now this pad doesn't add a lot by itself, but it adds this really cool texture that I like. The tone is kind of drowned out from the guitar and everything else, and you just kind of get the sound effects from it. You can kind of hear it here. It's like so subtle, but I feel like it's such an important step. Next thing I added was the synth. This is also a one-shot from Siki's kit. It's playing all the same notes as the other chords, so it's again F major and C major, but just playing in an arpeggiated style. That's one of my favorite parts of this whole sample. It brought so much energy to it. The next thing I did was I added this bass. This is another bass from the kit. He's got all the individual notes so they don't sound weird like when they're pitched. So I just used the open F and the open C. There's also muted versions of those if you need them. After that, I just added these perks. It added some extra energy to the sample. And then I added this synth. And then I actually added my own vocals to the sample as well. I kind of had a weird way of recording these, which is I just go one layer at a time and say completely random words. Like if you pay attention to the actual vocals, it's not really saying anything, but you can kind of pick up some words. Just because I really did not feel like songwriting at all. I'll get into the effects in a minute, but you can see that some parts have a little weird effect when Little Altar Boy is on them, like this. So I just kind of turned it on and off as needed throughout the vocals, and then I rendered it out like that. This was the vocal chain. It's Valhalla Vintage Verb, Effect Rack, using a 44th floor preset, and then Little Altar Boy. And then after that's all done, you get this. After everything was finished, I rendered out the sample, and this is what we got. Neat. So now we're going to go ahead and make a beat with that sample. And if you also want to flip this sample, it's going to be available on my Discord completely free. So be sure to join and check that out. So when I approach a beat like this, I really come into it with an open mind. I don't have like a specific thing that I'm going to use, because this isn't really the type of beat where you're just going to do a 2-step hi-hat pattern and some 808s and call it a day. It's going to be a little bit more intricate, but it also might be more simple. So we're just going to start going and see where it takes us. One thing I really like doing with these types of beats is using a 4 on the floor kick. So we'll do it like that, and then I'm going to EQ out some of the high end. Oh, this is fire. So we'll add this for some texture. And another thing with this is you really just want to layer a lot, because unlike trap, you can't really just put one kick down or like one snare and expect it to be good every time. Sometimes you need to customize it a little bit to fit the needs of the track. We're going to make almost a shaker out of these hi-hats. That's probably the majority of what I'm actually going to do with this beat. It's pretty simple, but I'm just really focused on the rhythms, and I'm focused on the energy that it brings. And another really important element of these types of beats is the arrangement. So we're really going to put a lot of focus onto that. So what I'm doing here is actually routing every single track to 1. And then that's going to be like my mix bus. So we've got our master bus, but say I'm doing like a low pass on the entire track and there's something that I don't want to have low passed, I can put that on the master and I can put everything else on this track that I just routed to. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a little automation clip here for the intro. Another thing that I can do with this too is I can actually route the kick as a sidechain track and then route it normally to the master, and then I can sidechain everything with a fruity limiter. So I'm going to turn the ceiling all the way up and then put the kick on it. can hear everything ducking out every time the kick hits. It just gives it that really wavy feeling, which is kind of what I'm chasing with this Joji beat. And then another thing I'm going to do is just space out some of these instruments here. So it'll be kind of like this. And then we kind of copy that arrangement over. The only thing I'm going to change is this part here. I'm going to make it more of a bridge. And for me personally, I always like to have a lot of bass in my bridges, so I'm going to put the bass back in there. You can see that I'm only keeping the first note for this part. It's not going down after 2. And then I'm just going to add this last riser. It's from this Hyperpop kit I put out a while back, but I just kind of use it in a lot of pop beats. And then we'll do a little double chorus here. And then just a volume fade at the end. And that's really all there is to it. So we were just experimenting, kind of seeing where the energy took us, and this is where we ended up. So I'm going to go ahead and play the full beat now. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check those kits out, and I'll catch you next time.